All right, hey everybody, welcome back. This is video number 5, I believe, in the Work in Public series I'm doing right now. I'm just working on something. For this one, though, I got a really fun little intro. So here we go. Welcome to Work in Public. Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, so today I'm going to be, or in this little session, I'm going to be working on what continuing where I left off. So I'm creating a pricing product for freelancers and service professionals so they can start pricing based on value and raising their rate in general and just kind of making more money doing valuable work instead of just charging low hourly rates and competing with everybody on really low budgets. What I did in the last one was, I don't even remember. It doesn't matter. Today, I'm going to start structuring the content. So this is just kind of just showing you how I would structure content for a course. And the whole point of this exercise is to keep it really lightweight and to not focus too much on perfectionism, but just like getting it done and repurposing what I've already created. I have a wealth of information and videos and lessons and everything already out there. And so I'm going to try and repurpose what I can so I can not spend too much time recreating the wheel. But in some cases, I might have to rewrite or refilm certain things, but we can make that really easy as well. So let me just share my screen. And what I'm going to do is, let me just... let's figure out what I'm doing here. Let's see here. This is what I'm going to work on right here. Create curriculum content. So it's going to be a longer process, but I'm going to try and make it as simple as possible. So let's head over to my curriculum that I set up. And so these are the 7 days that I kind of worked on. I thought I'd make it a 7-day thing. I might take out the day thing altogether because you can access it immediately. That's the whole point. But maybe it's just structured that way because you might want to chip away at it one day at a time. It's just my thoughts. Okay, so I'm going to jump into welcome, the first one, day 0, I'm calling it. It's just the welcome. I like to do a welcome lesson for courses so that you know kind of things that you need to work on, things that you need to know, expectations, resources, and stuff. I already kind of wrote something out very basic. It looks something like this. Welcome to the pricing playbook. I appreciate you investing your time. By the end of the course, you will, and I just kind of created a list of things that I would like for them to be able to have by the end of the course. Benefits, so raising your rate, stop selling your time and skills, start selling valuable outcomes, know how to calculate your rate in every pricing situation, know how much income you need to be profitable, valuable resource at your fingertips for calculating numbers on the fly, knowing how to get your clients to say yes to higher priced projects, and be armed with a strategy for accommodating clients with lower budgets. And then resources needed, the pricing calculator link there. So I got the pricing calculator here. No, that's not where it is. I'll have to find that. All right, I got it here. This is the pricing calculator. I always update this. Well, not always, but I often update this based on feedback and also based on things I think about. So I've got all the different types of pricing models that you would want to use. So I'm going to be using this as a lead magnet, and I'm also going to be using it as a resource in the course itself. I really love this calculator, and so do people who use it. I use it for when I need to price something, and I always recommend it to people who are trying to figure out what to charge, in a fixed rate, weekly, daily, value-based, and monthly rate situation. So I'm going to be using that as a lead magnet and also as a resource. So I've got the link, the share link, and so I'm just going to hook that up right there. And what I'll do is explain how to use it. Click File, make a copy. There. So it's very simple. So there's my first lesson. What I could do is I could film a little lesson. I could just turn my camera on and read off what I wrote here, or just say, hey, welcome to the course. I'm glad to have you here, blah, 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 blah. I could do that, and I probably will. I probably actually will just shoot one really good video for the intro and then see what I can do for the rest to keep it really lean, but also high value. And I'll hit publish on that. It's good enough for now. So there's the first lesson, lesson 0, welcome and resources. Okay. And I can always add more after. So then the next lesson is going to be day 1, and it's about why hourly rates are bad for business. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to outline really quickly. So, what I like to do when I write lessons is introduction, and then where I will introduce the main point. I'll just go like this. Introduce the main point, or the big idea. which is hourly pricing is not good. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and then conclusion, and maybe call to action. So that's just kind of how I think I'll introduce it. I'll say, hey, pricing is not really good when you do hourly rates. Here's why, and then 0.1, 2, and 3, conclusion, and then call to action. So I want to make sure this is not theory based. I want to make sure that there's as much action as possible. I don't like when it's just theory, because I write about this stuff. I've got blog posts and videos, and I want to make sure it's a bit of a fresh take on the idea and also gives you something to do. So I want you to look at this and I convince you that, hey, hourly rates are not really that good of an idea, or at least they should be higher, but even still, I don't like hourly rates. So I want to convince you that you probably should move away from it. And so this might be more of an argument-based lesson. So I'll just leave that for now. I'm just going to add the text. And the action might be like, hit in the comments, let me know what your current hourly rate is, or something like that. Or what I'll do is in the curriculum in the next lesson, I think it's know your numbers. So this is actually, so the first one is like why it's bad. And then now I'm going to get you to do something. So know your numbers. So in my pricing calculator, I want you to know your numbers. I want you to know what your required annual revenue is and what all these numbers from like annual cost of business, personal costs, annual working hours and lifestyle, and then your base rate range. So I call this a base rate, not an hourly rate, because this is not what the client will see. This is how much money you need to make every working hour in your business in order to hit your revenue goals and pay the bills. You don't say, hey client, I'm $225 an hour. You say, this project's going to be $5,000. And then, internally, it's probably going to take you a certain amount of hours, but it's not necessarily about that. You want to turn the project around in a quicker amount of time and achieve the outcome that the client wants, the results that the client wants. So you're not selling your time, you're selling the result for the client, rather than having your client think about how many hours is this going to take. Okay. So know your numbers. That's what that's about. And so what I'm going to do is introduce, what's happening here? Teachable just updated their software a little bit. So I think we're all good. Okay. So, know your numbers, introduce the big idea, which is you're undercharging. You're probably not profitable. Your confidence is getting in the way. You need to, therefore, know your numbers. So you need to know how much money you should, in theory, be earning every hour that you work. So not what your hourly rate is, but like how much money if you were to like look back and say, this week I made $3,000 and I worked this many hours, in order for me to know that like I'm on track, is I should be earning at least $241 per working hour, or 110, or whatever your number is. Everybody has a different number. So that's what the concept is here. Introduce the big idea. So that's the big idea. And then subject, point 1, point 2, point 3, conclusion, call to action. Okay. So, I'll figure out what the points are after. The call to action I do know is open the calculator, fill out your numbers in the first sheet, share your new numbers in the comments below, which means I should probably turn on the comments section so that people can engage. So there's another lesson, there's the idea. And what's nice is what I can do here with this, what I would do is I'd either write this out. It doesn't take me very long. I know all this stuff kind of the back of my head. I don't know. I know this stuff, so I can write it really quickly. Or what I might do is I see these are kind of like script notes. So what I do is like I'd literally turn this camera on, something like this, and I'd probably go like, let's switch to my screen or my camera. And I change up the screen a little bit to say like price, instead of work in public at the bottom, it'd say like pricing playbook by Brad Hussey, freelancingfreedom.com. And then I'd say, hey, welcome to the next lesson. Glad to have you here. So the big idea here is that you're probably undercharging and you're not profitable. You're probably not confident to raise your rates. And so I want to help you work through that. So therefore what I suggest to get past this roadblock is to know your numbers and to know what you actually should be charging. Maybe your current number is bang on, or maybe it's not enough. Maybe it's way undercharging and you're actually just like working for free or paying to work. So what I want to help you do in this is to practically find out what your specific number is, because my number is different than yours, is different than his, is different than hers, and so on and so forth. So, and then I'd say point number, maybe I would jump into kind of how to use the pricing calculator. I'd say, okay, you need to know your income goals. You need to know your lifestyle. You need to know your annual cost of business, and you need to know how much you want to be working hour-wise. Put these numbers together, smash them up, and then you get your number. Let's open up the pricing calculator. So that's kind of like what I would literally do, what I just did right there, and use that as a lesson. Yeah, that's what I would do. So actually, I'm actually just going to write these out really quick. So I'm going to use the pricing calculator here as a guideline. And it's possible that even in here, I talked about knowing your numbers. Let's see. Pricing. Find your base rate. Okay, I walked through that in the workshop, but I'm going to do it a little different here. So base. So what I'm going to say is you need your annual income requirements. You need to find out what those are by calculating your cost of business and your available working hours. So then I'm going to say like, where is my thing here? So it's going to be know your income goals, lifestyle goals. So that's how many hours to work. And this is how much money to bank or make, how much to pay yourself. And then point 3 is calculating everything. And then use the calculators and use it to find your base rate. Fill out your numbers, share your numbers in the comments below. Cool. So that's what I would do. That's the next lesson. Okay. How are we looking for time? Okay. This is a bit longer of a video, but we're blasting through this, hopefully. Raise your rate right now. Okay. So I've got a lesson I know from an older course. It was a pretty good one. That was about how to raise your rate like immediately and how to tell clients and notify them about raising that rate and what you're going to do, and using it as an opportunity to get clients either booking your hours for the last time because you're not doing hourly anymore, or how to batch, how to sell a package, or how to use a price change or increase as an opportunity to serve your current clients. So intro, it's going to be time to raise your rates. You can't afford not to. And that's good enough for now. Point 1, okay, what to raise your rate to? So maybe, actually, I've got an idea here. This is all point 1, what to raise your rate to? Value-based, fixed fee, productized, day rates. These are good ones, day rates, weekly rates. Okay, so these are all things that I show in the pricing calculator, and how to use day rates and things like that. And you can actually calculate your daily rate. So you can say, I only work on day rates now, and so we can do that. And so all of these, I know the big idea here is to move away from hourly rates and into more value-based pricing. Now, value-based pricing is not always going to work, because I'm implying that you need to know the value of the outcome for the client. What if you don't know the value of the outcome for the client? It's a bit tricky to calculate it sometimes. So it's the big idea is to get you away from hourly rates. My suggestion is to go more towards value-based rates and to keep that in the back of your mind at all times, because you're not selling your hours and skills. You want to be selling a valuable outcome for your clients, even if you don't know like the exact monetary return or time savings or whatever you're saving for the client. You want to know an idea of how valuable it is. If you're just selling like a cheap, brochure website, then that's not very valuable. But if you're selling, let's say a website that allows your customer to bring their offline sales online so that they can reach a broader market and make more sales 24/7, that's pretty valuable. Maybe they're going out of business and they don't want to go to business, so you help get them online with a Shopify site, or you improve their marketing strategy or social media or whatever it is, and then you boost their business. That's really valuable. You're keeping them in business, you're saving them money, you're saving them cash, you're making them cash. So very valuable. But you could just be selling your hours, or you could be selling a valuable outcome. So I want to get you away from hours, but I want to get you to value-based pricing, or, you could still do day rates and fixed rates. A good segue into value-based rates is just charging fixed rates. So I'll probably make the case for that in here. So saying like, what should you raise your rate to? / what's your pricing strategy moving forward? Okay, so that's point one. This is going to be good. Point two is how to make a plan to tell clients. And then point three, tell your clients. Something like that. Okay, and then conclusion, call to action. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. So that's the next lesson. Raise your rate right now. And the case for value-based rates. Why it's a better, actually, you know what? I'm thinking here, the case for value-based rates, I'm wondering, I might want to move that back. Okay, you know what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to switch this, because what if I'm not convincing you of the value-based rates yet? And what if you love the idea, but you prior to this told your clients you're raising your rate to a certain hourly wage, but then all of a sudden you want to do value-based. So I want to make the case for value-based rates before you raise your rates. So that's going to be day 3. And then day 4 will be raise your rate right now. Actually, let's put how to calculate a value-based project as day 4. And then we're going to raise the rate as day 5. I'm wondering if this just goes at the end. It's pretty close to the end, actually. But in day 7, I got convincing your clients and closing thoughts. I'm just going to take convincing your clients out of here and do closing thoughts. And we'll see, I might have like bonus lessons or bonus resources or something. But it's going to be day 4. This is going to be day 5. I want raising your rate to be kind of like what you get to. Like you want, by the end of it, okay, now you're confident, you're convinced, you know the strategy, you're going to raise your rates, you're going to commit to it, and you're going to tell your clients, and then moving forward, that's the strategy you're going to use. That's kind of the goal here at the end, and then closing thoughts. I think that works. Okay. So then the case for value-based rates, we're going to add some text, and then intro. Again, this is how I write lessons. Point 1. Point 2, it's very like high school English class when you're writing essays. Intro, like make your thesis and then defend your thesis with 3 main points in the body, and then tell them what you said at the end of your conclusion. Tell them, a conclusion to your thesis and wrap it up. And then, I add call to action at the end. But that's kind of how I do it. And it's just a good structure for writing, for speaking, for presenting. It's what I use as a bit of an anchor, and I can move away from that where I need to, but that's kind of what I like to do. So it's just kind of tell them what you're going to tell them, tell them what you just told them. And that's how you do it. That's the secret. It's the secret to professional online course curriculum. Your grade 11 English teacher taught you when you weren't paying attention, Brad. What? Okay. All right. Where are we at? Okay. What was today's? I forget what this one was. The case for value-based rates. Why value-based is better. Why it's scary. Why it's hard. I don't know. Conclusion and then call to action. Try to calculate a value-based rate. 3 scenarios. And I can give like a little workbook or something. Share in the comments. Something like that. Turn on the comments. And so there's kind of the outline for that lesson. Loving it. Lovely, lovely. Okay, next in the curriculum, we've got how to calculate a value-based project. That might be, I got a lesson on that. How to calculate, I don't know, just telling what I'm going to tell them. Point 1, point 2, point 3. Okay, now I actually know what I'm going to talk about in this one. This is going to be making them money, saving them time. So the benefit actually, watch this. Benefit is money earned. Benefit is money saved. Benefit is time saved. Kind of those are some main benefits of value-based pricing. And then how you would apply that, how you would know how to calculate it, because sometimes you can't know based on how much money the client makes. Maybe you didn't sign a non-disclosure and they're not telling you those numbers, but you can kind of glean, but you can also see how much time they saved. So like I did a website for a client recently and they said they spent 60 hours creating a website that was not very good. And I told them I could do it in 1 day by booking me for a day, and it would cost them like a flat fee. And I said, like, how much is your hourly rate on average? And they were like, it's like $200. So 60 hours, $200. I was like, well, congratulations. You spent $12,000 creating a website that now you need to do over. I have a closer relationship. We're friends. So that wasn't offensive to them. But that was the idea. And so he said, yeah, for like $1,500 flat, book me for a day. I'll get it done. No sweat off my back. So that's kind of like, I save them time and money. So those are some double benefits. If you can know how to save money, make them money, save them money, and save them time and make them kind of happier in the process, then boom, like you're making the case for our value-based rates. No probs. Conclusion, call to action would be value-based rate exercise again, perhaps. Comment. Okay, so that was that one. That's the outline for that lesson. And darn it, my mouse. These Apple mouses, these Apple mice, the batteries die so fast. I go through so many AA's, and I gotta wait for it to connect again. Okay. Package your prices with triple threat. This one's easy for me. I got tons of material on this. This is a concept that I didn't like invent, but I call it the triple threat, and I use it so much that I've adopted it as my own, and I coddle it and nurse it like it is my own adopted baby. Introduction. This one's easy. I'm probably just going to repurpose a lesson that I already have. What is the triple threat technique? Why it's great. Actually, what most people do, which is a 50-50. I know what I'm talking. I'm just thinking out loud here. What is triple threat? Why it's great. Actually, no. Introduction is going to be what most people do is 50-50. What you should do instead, triple threat technique. And then point 1, point 2, and point 3, conclusion, CTA. Point 1 is going to be all about the 50-50 split, which is not good. What is triple threat technique? how to apply it, and then create a triple threat pricing strategy. Share your ideas, something like that. Okay. And I'm getting, look at it. I did raise your rate already, and now I'm just on closing thoughts, which is easy. Intro, closing thoughts will just be like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. The reason why I do this every single time is because it just gives me a really constrained framework to work within, instead of being like looking at the blank page and wondering what to write, because that's hard. The blank page is hard, but when you just know a framework you have to follow, it just flows, it becomes easy. And then you can break the framework where you need to. But when you're limited, it's so much easier to work. And that goes for so much. When you think you're free and you could do anything at any time, and you're always just like loosey-goosey, then you have nothing to ground you. So take that, Philosophy 101. Intro. So the conclusion lesson is just kind of like super meta, because you're like, this is the conclusion. In this conclusion, here's what I conclude. Here's what the conclusion is. Here's what I just told you in the conclusion. And now we've concluded. So I don't, it's super meta. So intro would be like, you made it. You're awesome. I don't know. Point one is like, you learned that hourly is not good. You learned that other models, namely value-based rates, are better. You raised your rate, know your numbers, and apply the triple threat technique. Conclusion. Wow, where did the time go? I don't know. Call to action. Apply these techniques in every project. Keep the calculator handy. If you would like to learn more about growing your freelance business, consider joining my signature program launch. Here's a discount. I don't know. I've delivered a lot of value. By the end of it, you kind of earn permission to offer a next step and then give them an incentive. So there we go. That, I think I outlined all of it. I only published day 0, but I'm so like, I got it all here. I mean, what I'll do is I'll turn on the comments. I'll turn on the comments for all of them. But now I've outlined the curriculum. So I didn't create all the content, but I kind of did a little extension of outline curriculum. So it's kind of like I did 2 of these. So it's, this would be more like I did plan curriculum, and then I also outlined curriculum. There, now I feel better. I got to check something off. And then now I need to add the curriculum content. So that's just like fleshing that out. I may or may not share that process because it might be a little bit tedious in a really long video. This is a pretty long one right now, but that's what I did. That's my process for creating curriculum content. So I did that for, as you saw, like 8, so 7, 8 full lessons here. They're text-based, but I'm going to go around. I've got content. So I've got a workshop here on pricing. I've got blog posts about pricing. I've got premium material about pricing. So here's my launch course. And I've got a whole pricing module. So I can go, okay, the triple threat technique, I believe I have right here. So what I'll probably do is use this lesson. Like I'll just re-edit this lesson to like take out the bumper that says module 5 lesson 4 and just like re-export it, repurpose it, and maybe do, yeah, and maybe just like put that in there. I've got the pricing calculator, so yeah, I'm good to go. I'm fine and dandy here. So yeah, that my next step would be to create that content. And so what I'll do is probably make a little more progress on that and show you what I did so that you can see. And then we'd be on to creating the emails in Convertkit. So then I'm going to create the emails. Right now I just have a shell, but I would actually create the emails. And then I would work on the sales page. Those, one or the other, works fine for me. So that's what I would do next. I hope this was valuable to you. And yeah, we'll catch you in another Work in Public session here. Cheers. Thanks for watching.